Aloha and welcome, friends, to Shinyo Lantern Floating Hawaii 2023. When we weren't allowed to gather on the beach in 2020, we had no idea it would be 3 years until we'd be able to come back together again. It's been 3 long years, and the world has changed so much. We've been separated physically, and that isolation may have led to feelings of division and disconnection. With that in mind, we were drawn to a theme that would help us set our intention for this year's ceremony, Lokahi.
You know, a lot of us know Lokahi as translated into unity. But with the Hawaiian language, there are many different layers of understanding. You might look at Lokahi or unity as thinking like, okay, we're all coming together as one. But the deeper meaning is that we were always one. We were never apart.
This meaning of the word Lokahi resonates at a very deep place with the word Shinyo. Shinyo refers to the shared innate goodness that exists within all things, within ourselves and what surrounds us. Each one of us can bring out all the beautiful colors and hues that make us unique, but still see ourselves collectively in all our richness as being one and already whole.
I get the sense that coming out or exiting or transitioning out of the time of the pandemic, there's a lot of emotions that are there, but one of them is grief and trauma. Sometimes those emotions can serve to further distance us and isolate us. And so the idea of Lokahi or of Shinyo, that we're already connected, that you don't really need to force a connection, but you just have to rediscover it, feels very empowering.
The founder of our path to Shinyo, Master Shinjo Ito, taught us to have unwavering trust that we can build a good future. We may face harsh realities and struggles, but let us always remember Shinyo and Lokahi and not lose sight of the light of love and friendship that are here.
With the light of love and friendship in mind, let's meet 5 members of our community who will light the guiding lanterns in tonight's Light of Harmony ceremony. These lanterns carry collective prayers so that all spirits that ever existed are remembered in the lantern floating. Our lighters were selected because of their connection with these collective prayers.
When I first learned what prayer I would be focusing on, that centers around discrimination and those who have experienced discrimination, exclusion, isolation, that meant something to me because I represent many communities which have historically been excluded. When we are excluded or when we are discriminated against, our entire existence, our very core, becomes a source of pain. And I think the best part about this prayer is that a lot of this trauma can be healed now, in this lifetime. You know, while we're thinking of those who are gone on and grieving for those who have gone on, there's a lot that we can do now to stop this type of discrimination.
I'm going to be speaking in honor of the prayer for native flora and fauna and for the plant and animal kingdom. You know, as humans, we tend to think it's all about us. You know, what do I need to survive, or what do I need to do to, you know, make money, or whatever it might be. But sometimes overlooking what it takes to keep us alive on Earth. The fresh air we breathe, the clean water we drink, the food we eat, it all comes from nature. If we take the time to just slow down and breathe the fresh air, listen to the birds, and, you know, think a little bit about, you know, where we come from and what's going to happen in the future. What are we going to leave for future generations? I think we'll be taking care of the earth better that way.
I would say the 2 prayers that are most attached to is the immigrant experience, the Native Hawaiian experience, and also healthcare. Native Hawaiians, you know, we struggle with, you know, all kinds of social statistics, imprisonment, lack of education, lack of housing, homelessness, And so, we got to continue to malama our hosts. We being American government, came and kind of intruded, kind of opened the door without knocking. And if you go set up shop in a way that had hurt a lot of Native Hawaiians. I think this lantern ceremony allows us that opportunity to forgive, not forget, but to forgive, to get to reconcile, and then hold hands together to try to find a better place, not just for Native Hawaiians, but for all of us together.
I would be attached to the prayers of victims of war and victims of religious conflict. We must never stop paying homage to the victims of war. They have given so much for our freedom. I'm reminded today to just remember those individuals who are no longer with us for the principles of what they believe in and principles of what they fought for. We keep them alive by speaking their name. We keep them alive by recalling the memories with them. I believe when we talk about those who have fallen, we recall them, they're sort of like a light in our past, lighting the way for a bigger, brighter, and better future.
I'm going to be carrying the prayer petitions for victims that have suffered from illness and disease and pandemics. We acknowledge the people that suffered both from COVID, but also the people that continued to suffer from normal everyday illness and families that were affected by that as well. I think it's just important to acknowledge everyone that suffered from illness during that time. I heard a quote a long time ago about a master navigator, Papa Mau. Well, I think what he said was that in order to navigate, you must be brave. And in order to be brave, you must remember. And so part of understanding where we're going in the future is being brave, and being brave means that we remember and acknowledge those that have come before us, those that we have loved, that have gone on. All of that helps us to collectively remember, and that, I think, informs and empowers us to move forward.
Remembering our loved ones is so important, but it's also hard. At its core, grief is love. But the grieving process hurts and it takes time. Rosalind Katrasha joined us to share about her mom, Bibi Freitas, and to talk about her experience of loss.
I grew up in a very musical house. My mom was an amazing musician. She was such an amazing musician. She was better at the age of 6 than I'll ever be in my life. She was a prodigy. I would just listen to her playing with the most amazing people. And she was so good that I knew I would never be able to do it. But she saw a gift in me that I didn't see. And then we started to work together at the church. She would play the organ at the church, I would play the piano. Sometimes right here at Punahou, I would be down there on the piano, she'd be here in the organ. We would be making music together. I still hear her music in my head, like I did before. I see a counselor each week trying to still deal with losing mom and other things because life is crazy hard. And she was saying, don't you know your mom lives in you? And I'm just like, yeah, I've heard that. I know the song. I have glimpses of that. Sometimes the way I say something, or the way I'll react to something, the way I'll encourage somebody. But there are other times where I really just like, no, I want her here now. She lives in me, but I want her sitting next to me. I want to have coffee with her. I want to have dessert with her. I want to have a sandwich with her. I want to hear her tell me with absolute words. Boy, I guess I'm going through a bunch of emotions right now, aren't I? Having other close friends, other family members who have had other people pass on, some 5, 10, 20 years later in their journey. I keep on saying things like, I'll be fine one day. And they say, well, it doesn't really ever go away. And that's actually helped me. It makes me remember I'm not going to forget her. I shouldn't try to shove the memories aside or the emotions or the feelings aside. There are moments when I'm playing music and I feel her on my left side because she's always there on the organ. And I would be over here on the piano. I feel her there, and it's almost like angels are in the room at that moment. While I don't understand everything right now, I think that the love that we experience during the time on this precious earth together, it keeps on growing stronger. When it first happened, I didn't believe it was going to be okay. But one of my dear friends said, Roz, I know you're not seeing it right now, but it is going to be okay. And it is okay. I have seen the most beautiful sunrises since she passed away. I have laughed harder than I thought I could laugh again. I didn't think that was going to be possible at one point after she passed away. But it is going to be okay.
Thank you so much, Roz. I think we all can relate to what you're going through, and we're so grateful to you for opening your heart to us. And now, we're finally ready to return to the beach. I'll see you over there.
More than 50 years ago, in a prayer for world peace and happiness, the founder of Shinyo Inn envisioned a lantern floating ceremony here in Hawaii, where all in attendance could connect with that which cannot be seen, but which can be felt in the deepest part of our souls. Almost 3 decades later, and for the next 20 years, we came together on the south shore of Oahu, leaving behind that which divides us, coming together as one. The pandemic turned our world upside down, and it put a halt to what had become a tradition for so many. We've continued to honor our loved ones, but we haven't been able to feel their presence here, where our prayers for peace and comfort can be offered towards the setting sun. Today, we returned once again, weathered but unbroken, in the spirit of Shinyo and Lokahi, to honor all beings who have ever been blessed with life. Welcome to Shinyo Lantern Floating Hawaii.